I am quite interested in the preview of Leslie having a business proposal to Joey. I do like when villains on a soap opera start doing some sort of bidding together, as long as the show doesn't overdo it. What's up, Beyond the Gates fans? Here to give my preview for this upcoming week of Beyond the Gates. Usually it's Soap Opera Sundays, but today I'm just talking about Beyond the Gates, and maybe for the foreseeable future, unless the rest of these American soap operas give me something to talk about. In this preview for the upcoming episodes of Beyond the Gates, we start with what seems like Chenise kissing Ted on New Year's Eve. Now, I might be becoming a broken record because I feel like I've talked about this my last two videos with Beyond the Gates, but I don't see this as the right direction for Chenise and Ted, at least not this soon. There's plenty of people against this pairing because of the way they continue to write Ted as not only a big idiot, as not only spineless, but clearly someone who doesn't do well in relationships. I really do feel like my idea was the only way this was ever going to work, and that was to keep Chenise and Ted friends for the foreseeable future. If you wanted your end game, and who knows if they're actually end game, but if you wanted Ted and Chenise to become a couple, I think we needed a slow burn to get there, and I think it needed to be a friends to lovers storyline. Now, I still feel like they're trying to go for some sort of friends to lovers thing, but it's rushed, and there's not a proper build to make that happen. So I think this Chenise and Ted experiment is probably going to fail in the long run unless the writing for Ted goes from 0 to 100 and gets 100% better, which I don't see it happening after this past week when Ted looked like the biggest clown. This was his biggest week as a clown yet. And later when I'm reading some of your comments, that's going to be the main subject. We all tore Ted to shreds this past week. So the Chenise and Ted kiss, I think it's not gonna work out, unfortunately. I'm still giving it a chance, but too many couples on this show get rushed, and I feel like this is gonna be another instance of that. Speaking of couples, we have Izaiah calling Eva his girlfriend in this upcoming preview. And it also seems like Eva has a response that she feels like Izaiah is telling her this too soon too. Is this going to be another couple on the show that gets rushed? I don't know. I do kind of like the setup for these two so far because they have made it where Izaiah is the pushier of the two. And I don't know if it's just because he's trying to rebound from his last relationship. I don't know if he just wants Eva for sex. They've painted him as this bad boy. Will that be his way of being a bad boy, just using Eva for sex? Whereas Eva wants to take things slow. I do want to see how Eva actually reacts to Izaiah calling her his girlfriend. Is she okay with that when she wanted things to be slow? I'm going to make a prediction with this writing as of late that yes, even though Eva wanted this relationship to go kind of slow, she's going to be more than happy to be called Izaiah's girlfriend. That's my prediction, but I hope they prove me wrong and take it in an interesting direction. I am quite interested in the preview of Leslie having a business proposal to Joey. I do like when villains on a soap opera start doing some sort of bidding together, as long as the show doesn't overdo it, which a lot of soap operas in the past have done with their villains. But I do think Leslie and Joey in something together could be good TV, and it could be good for both of them as villains. I think Leslie needs more to do as a villain and a better reason to do what she does as a villain. And I think Joey has his hands in a lot of things on this show right now. And I would like for both of them to kind of be taken down a peg somehow. We'll see if them working together is actually bad for them. That's kind of what I hope. I kind of hope Leslie and Joey try to do something together and it actually hurts both of them. That would be my hope from this show, putting them together to do something. Now, the big story going into this next week is obviously going to be the Anita health scare, or not just a scare, it's a full-blown problem now. We see Anita and Vernon at the hospital in the preview, and Vernon saying it's time to tell the kids. So I do believe Dani and Nicole are going to be told about Anita's breast cancer this week. Because we also see in the preview Andre comforting Dani, which is likely after she finds out about what's wrong with her mother. I'm glad that Dani has Andre now, because I can't imagine Dani from 7-8 months ago, when she was a drunken mess, when she was just a mess, period, getting this news about her mother. It's good that Andre will be there for Dani. We also see Dani getting into it with Haley and Bill in the preview. Dani saying it's something about their girls. I don't know if Dani is worried about how Chelsea and Naomi are going to take the Anita news, maybe. But it, of course, brings Bill into this storyline too. And I wonder if Dani is going to feel some kind of way about needing Bill's comfort, or the kids needing Bill's comfort through all of this, and how that ties into the triangle with Haley and Andre and all of that. And then the last thing we see in the preview is Nicole having a breakdown. I'm assuming this is also after she learns what's wrong with her mother. And Nicole is right now trying to date Carlton and Kyle, I guess. We haven't seen Kyle lately, and I don't know if we're seeing Kyle this week. Very strange with the way this show paces their storylines. But it's going to be a heavy week of Dani and Nicole finding out about Anita's cancer, and that could even go into next week. It's a story some of us aren't looking forward to because of the heaviness. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I like my soap operas to be more of an escape from reality rather than giving us more things to be sad over, because society can be quite sad these days. But I do think the acting in this storyline is going to be good. I think everyone's going to want to bring their A game. I think Tamara Tooney and Clifton Davis are already doing that. So the acting is probably going to make this storyline. I hope the writing stays strong for it as well. So that's definitely the main story in the preview, I think, will be more people finding out about Anita's cancer. Lastly, I just want to read some of your comments from these past week of episodes. She's been very much against Ted and Shanice lately in the comments, and I can't blame her. Hemi30 said, keep Ted away from Shanice. I would take Derek over Ted at this point. He couldn't wait until after the holidays to spill secondhand tea, and he saw Nicole wasn't home. How pathetic do you look, letting yourself into her home and waiting around just so you can tell her about her dad having an affair. What a dumbass. So yeah, like I said earlier, a lot of the comments I'm going to read today are going to be a lot of you dragging Ted after I dragged Ted on Tuesday's episode, but he deserved the dragging. He was being quite a dummy. Jay Way said, Ted is a spineless weasel. The way he couldn't wait to tell Nicole about her father. If you're going to tell someone dirt, tell it about yourself and mind your own business. That's one secret she didn't need to hear. Yeah, Ted was trying to get brownie points, I guess, from Nicole here, but he ended up looking like an ass because it was bad information from Leslie, who he should never really want to take info from in the first place. Pulse Graves said, this episode today was difficult to get through. Anita's diagnosis was heartbreaking. If anyone who has lived with someone close who struggled with cancer can identify, Tamara Tooney fortunately is doing a good job with well-written material so far. Yeah, I do think Tamara Tooney is going to do very good with this story. I think she already is. The scenes between Anita and Vernon have been very well done when it comes to this topic of conversation. Seeing them both hurting, seeing them both scared, wanting to feel the grief from this situation. They're doing a really good job. Alicia8857 said, in a contest as to who's the dumbest, Brady Black on Days of Our Lives or Ted, I think it would be a tie. Yeah, for anyone that does or doesn't watch Days of Our Lives, Brady Black is a character who is always brain dead on that show, it seems like. He really is a himbo, as people call him. The thing with Brady is he's been a dummy on that show for decades now. So I think he does have Ted beat just for that. You know, Ted is a surgeon. He has to have a brain somewhere. I hope at some point Ted finds a brain. But I'm starting to wonder if the show just really wants us to know that Ted isn't shit. Maybe he's not dumb. Maybe he does purposely do all of these things because he ain't shit. I don't know. Village Girl said, Ted is a trick, a tool, stuck on stupid, and the biggest clown in the Dana Leslie Lulu circus. Ted is certainly a clown when it comes to Leslie. Leslie has made Ted quite the clown, but he seems to be more than okay to be the big clown in her circus lately. Linda Thornton also has words for Ted. She said, Ted is pitiful. Why would he believe anything Leslie gossiped about? Ted is a big-ass loser and has no backbone. He should have gone straight to Vernon. And that was a point a lot of you made in the comments, that if Ted had this information and wanted to talk to someone about it, he should have been the bigger man and tried to talk to Vernon about it and confront Vernon about it and maybe actually find out more of the truth before he went to Nicole with this info. But Ted is always more than happy to jump the gun to try and get in Nicole's good graces, even if it makes him look stupid each time. Doing Me said, Ted is too damn dumb for Chenise, and they had better not have that damn Leslie bother and get on Anita's nerves during this time of sorrow. Another person who feels like the Ted and Chenise pairing won't work because of Ted, and that Chenise deserves better, and not wrong there. And I 100% agree, and I've said this before about the Anita Kansas storyline. Leslie needs to be nowhere with this. If they are going to have Leslie continue to get on Anita's nerves, then they need to be prepared to once again write Leslie into a corner of being this villain that most of the fans want to see go away, because that's definitely taking it a step very far. Now, I could see the show trying to gain more favor for Leslie and have Leslie have some scenes where she's there for Anita during this time of sorrow. I don't know how those scenes would land either, but I can see that happening. A few more before I gotta go. Harriet Smallwood said, Ted is such a fool and I do not feel sorry for him. Vanessa has reached Ashley's status for me, which equals I do not want to see her on my TV screen. Couldn't agree more. Vanessa has gotten there for me too. Every time I see Vanessa on an episode now, I groan, which is how I used to be anytime I saw Ashley and Derek were in an episode. The writing has failed Vanessa hardcore. Devin said, Vernon did great singing solo. I enjoyed seeing the entire Dupree family together. This was a good, heartfelt episode of Beyond the Gates. Yeah, the Christmas episode with the family all together were good Christmas soap opera scenes. They did everything right with most of those scenes, other than writing Nicole out of character, which is what we're going to get to in this comment from Sable. Sable7114 said, what child such as Nicole would want to confront her parents and Sharon regarding an affair at the Christmas party in front of everybody, including the teenagers? Definitely out of character for Nicole, and definitely a fool to believe what Ted told her. I just felt like that was bad plot-driven writing. They wanted to have that stupid question of, are Vernon and Sharon having an affair? And that plot-driven mess hurt a character like Nicole, who I don't think would have ever done that at a Christmas party. The show has to stop trying to push bad storylines with bad plot-driven writing. That was a perfect example. Like, doing that writing for the character of Nicole so out of character just for the stupid fake out storyline of Vernon and Sharon was bad. Last comment, only one Adrian said Vernon sang that song because he actually wrote it in real life for the Jackson 5. It's his song. He's an amazing songwriter in real life and wrote hits for Motown. That was a great nugget of information about Clifton Davis. I wonder if the show didn't have to pay for him singing that because he wrote the song. Maybe that's why they chose that song. But it was still a great song choice because of the whole dilemma for Anita and Vernon right now with Anita's cancer. That's all for our preview for this upcoming week of Beyond the Gates. I will see you tomorrow to review tomorrow's episode. I believe we have 4 episodes this week, with New Year's Eve being a day off because of college football.